racing 1 mile in the Sandringham Stakes. This handicap for the fillies over the straight mile, and one into stride over on the far side was Golden Spice, and quite prominent as well as Morgan Ferry. Augmentarians up there, and racing more prominent down the centre now is Aunt Bethany. These are then followed by Present Moment in the red and white. More towards the stand side of the blue and white is Minwa. Minwa just about in front now from Aunt Bethany, and with those is Golden Mayflower. Another one to show prominence, Espresso, and behind Espresso over on that far side group is King's Joy. They've then been followed through by Love Interest and Get Crasher Go racing in the midfield in company with Tamarama. Discretion covered up 2/3 of the way back through the field. More towards the near side, right at the back is Zambak. Also Lullaby with plenty more in front and behind, and Heredia is just about third from last at the moment. They continue up the home straight there towards the final 3 furlongs, and just about with the lead is Golden Mayflower, but joined by Golden Spice. Right in behind is No Name Nicky. Still going okay is Morgan Ferry, then Augmentarian, who's trying to work into contention as well as they race now down towards the final furlong and a half, and it's wide open up right over on the far side. Fresh Hope is challenging over there, still handy down the centre. Golden Mayflower, and bursting through is Crenell. Mishara's also getting there. Sagamia's coming up with a run over on the far side. Fresh Hope near side Sagamia together with Heredia, who's made rapid headway, and Heredia's now hit the front. Zambak's also running off to the back. Close up behind is Crenell, and then Sagamia. It's Heredia. She's going to remain unbeaten. Wins the Sandringham. Heredia the winner from Zambak and Crenell. Then Sagamia, Mishara. And these are then followed by Fresh Hope, and behind Fresh Hope then came on the inside Persist, and further back to King's Joy.
Well, goodness me, Heredia wins for Richard Annan and Sean Levy, 4 from 4. Quite an interesting race, and the head-on might be informative, but what did you make of that, Kevin?
I think we're going to be dealing with the stewards again, Alex, and this got a little bit messy late on. Heredia started going to her left, and now we won't prejudge. I want to see the head-on, etc. But Heredia has come from quite a long way back, closer.
I saw a horse clip heels in the field before any of that, actually. I think the horse in yellow here did clipped heels, I'm sure. We'd have to have a look at that again.
Heredia has burst through, looked all over at this point, but here comes the Hamdan Al Maktoum Shadwell colours absolutely flying home. Sean Levy whipping the right hand. Filly starts to edge. He puts 2 hands back on the reins. We'll want to see the head on. It certainly looks like the winner's come across. There has been some element of interference. Will the stewards deem it significant enough to change this result? We'll be more informed after we see this head on. First impression was the interference may not have been significant enough to warrant a reversal, given the winning distance was approximately a length. But we'll wait and see. Sean changes his stick into his right hand now. His mount immediately goes to her left.
Oh, that didn't look quite so good.
He, in fairness to Sean, he put his 2 hands back in the reins. He made an effort to correct. His filly kept going. You see, it was just after he changed his whip and used it. Now he changed the whip, and it's as soon as he uses it, his filly starts to go left. In fairness to him, he identifies that. He hasn't quite got his 2 hands back in the reins. Now he does. Is he applying enough pressure in that right rein? Maybe not. I think his priorities might have been continuing to go forward. Very close to the line. Look, there has been interference. Jim Crowley has suffered. I'm sure he'll go into the stewards and say it cost him the race. But as we saw yesterday, the way these rules are enforced in this country, the stewards will there we go, bing bong. First certainty to say landed. The stewards have to be sure on the balance of probabilities that the second, the sufferer, would have finished in front of the interferer without the interference. Will they be able to make that conclusion? It would be a big call, and the way these things tend to go, Alex, we don't tend to see many big calls, especially when the winning distance is more like a length. When it's noses, short heads and necks, it's a little bit easier for the stewards to make a punchy call. So I haven't seen the market for this, but I would expect Heredia is a short price to keep this race.
What do you think, Fred?
Yeah, look, he's obviously come off his line. The second he pulled his stick through into his right hand, the filly started drifting under to his left, and therefore he's coming into Jim Crow's end right here, right now, and it did cost him momentum. Did it cost him enough, Kevin, to get demoted? Well, look, the betting markets are always an excellent guide on this. You know, these guys are professionals on the betting exchanges, betting on these outcomes all the time. And I'm led to believe Heredia is trading a very short price to keep this race in the region of 1 to 10, maybe even slightly shorter. Now, the important